Hello learners, you are most welcome for this session. This is teacher Baib Simon taking you through biology and chemistry. And today I have come for chemistry, senior 1, and today I want us to look at materials or using materials. In this session, I welcome you all. Remember to subscribe for this channel, follow the WhatsApp channel, turn on notifications, share the videos to your colleagues, share the channel to your colleagues so that we learn together, because when we help each other, there is the best. Let's go straight to our session. Alright, you are most welcome for this session. Today we are looking at using materials, and that is chemistry. This topic is majorly for senior 1. So where this topic is covered. After experimental chemistry, that's when we handle using materials. And now here we are. Learners, I have a question for you. Why is it that a pen is made up of plastic, a ruler is made up of wood, a box is made up of paper? What would be the reason? Think about it. And this is where we are. We learn about materials to know which material is better for making or manufacturing a given object. Because why would you think that the ruler is made up of plastic and the pen is made up of wood? Why do you think a box of chalk is not made up of plastic? Instead, it is made up of paper. It's the reason as to why we need to know, or we need to have an idea about materials. And here we go. Today I want us to look at two things. That is, what are materials? We need to know what materials are. Then two, classification of materials. I want us to learn how to classify different materials. Here we go. Now, what are materials? This is what we are going to start with. Materials, in definition, we say these are substances, or we can say matter, from which objects or physical objects are made from. We are saying materials is matter, or these are substances from which physical objects are made. That is materials. When I talk of physical objects, I mean a ruler, a pen, a box, a shirt, the clothes we put on. Look at the desks on which you are sitting. Look at the furniture everywhere, in offices, in class. Look at the shoes that you put on. Those are all physical objects. Even the books in which you write in is also a physical object. Now, when we say material, it is this matter or the substance from which a pen, a book, a ruler, furniture, and anything else is made from, or even the clothes that we put on daily. So those are materials. That's what we mean by material. Because you can find that a ruler, when we say this is wooden, and you can have a wooden desk. So you find that these are two objects, but when they are made of the same material, and now the material becomes wood, and these are physical objects. That's the difference between an object and a material. That one is done. Hope now you know what materials are. I can give an example. Look at a pen. A pen is plastic. We have plates that are plastic. We have plastic bottles and many other things. They are all made up of plastic, but they are different objects. So the material made is the same, that they are being made from the same material, but when they are different objects. Now, in this session, we are going to use different terms. There are terms which are going to come to our know. For example, we shall have to know about hardness. Some materials are hard. We shall talk about flexibility. Some objects are flexible because the material from which they are made from is flexible, and others are transparent, others are opaque, like that. Let's go to classification of materials. Now, looking at the classification of materials, we have two types of materials, that is natural materials and synthetic materials. Now let us get to know what are synthetic materials and what are natural materials. Since natural materials, these are materials obtained from the natural resources and are used without or with less or little alteration by man. We obtain them from the natural environment. We use them to make physical objects with some alteration, or others are used even without alteration. For example, wood. Wood is a natural material. The only alteration by man is to shape it, to turn it, to make it a shape. For example, a roller, a desk, a stool, a chair. So there is less alteration. Then, when we go to synthetic materials, we are saying these are materials that are made artificially from natural materials through chemical processes. These ones, we obtain them from the natural materials, and this happens as a result of chemical processes. I can give an example. Glass is a synthetic material. This one is made from sand. So how is sand turned into glass? After chemical processes that take place. So that is how natural materials differ from synthetic materials. And we have very many synthetic materials. Plastics. Plastics are made from oil. And very many polymers. That is, those are synthetic, and this is the natural materials. Now, the reason as to why you find that, as I gave an example, a ruler is made of, or a metal ruler is made of wood. And when you get a pen is made up of glass, and you find out that a box of chalk is made up of paper. You find that the choice of the material is determined by the characteristics of the material. As I told you, some materials are hard. They show the characteristic or the property of hardness. Others are flexible when they can bend. As you can see this metal, it can try to bend. Others are transparent, like a glass. Look at the pen. It is transparent. I can see the ink. Look at conductivity. Some materials conduct electricity. For example, the electric wires. So we cannot use wood when we want to form a conductor. When we want an object which is a conductor. So the choice of the material is determined by the properties of the material and the use of the object from which, I mean the use of the object that is going to be formed. It depends on which object that is going to be manufactured. That's when we shall choose which material is best for this and which material is best to manufacture such an object. I wish you well. So today we have learned about what are materials and the classification of materials. We have known what materials are and what objects are. We have known the two types of materials, that is synthetic and natural. We have known that natural materials are obtained from the natural environment, and we can use them directly the way they are, or we can do some little alteration to make them suit what we need. And when we go to synthetic, we find out that synthetic materials, for them, they undergo processes, though they are obtained still from the materials which are natural. I gave an example of glass and plastics. Glass is obtained from sand. So through certain processes, chemical processes which take place, you find out sand is turned into glass and is used to form very many physical objects.